Hey, everyone. This is Paul Fink, and so excited to be here. We've got so much to talk about. And we were talking about chit chat and that internal chit chat. Had a ton of conversation going on recently about the internal chit chat that we experience every day. Every single one of us have it. It's that voice that hangs out in our head. We're going to be talking about that and what that really means, and do we just put up with it? Do we control it? Do we eliminate it? What is internal chit chat all about? We're going to be talking about that over this next time period here of hanging out with each other in this space. We're going to be giving some attention and some time for everyone to come on board. Really pleased to see everyone here. We are in the space, and let me see what I can do here to help everyone out in getting clear with what we're doing here and help people. Let's see. And my creating some images. We're on chat all over the place. So just trying to help people out with the chat. Here we go. Go ahead. We are on. And let me just get this up there for some of the people to engage with me more fully. And we've got we are on Restream, and so we're on a few different platforms, and so something wrong. Yeah, they're playing tricks on me now. Always love that. Technology is a fun thing. All right, we're gonna let that go. Get everyone on board and see what we can be doing here for everyone. Just doing some components here. Let's see if that worked. Yes, I believe that worked, so that we can help each other out. And so I can see some of the chat as it comes on board and see who is chatting with me with all of that. We are on several different platforms now. However, I want to talk about that chit chat and what goes on internally with all of you. Hey everyone, we're starting to see people pop on in several different platforms. Welcome. And saying hi and engaging. Okay, internal chit chat. What the heck am I talking about? Some people talk about that being their voice in their head. And yes, we all have it. You're not crazy. It's your voice in your head that is going 100 miles an hour. There's voices going on in our head about 1,800 words a minute, absolutely ongoing chit chat. Some people hear it continuously, other people hear it in spurts, only it's constantly speaking to us, constantly feeding us information and processing the external world, putting it through a ton of filters and bringing it to our conscious and unconscious mind. And this ends up being this chit chat that goes on as it's processing everything and then feeding us information. Now, we're thinking in a fraction of how much information is coming at us. We're thinking in a fraction of how much information is actually being processed. So, what that means is that there's a whole lot of thoughts that's being disseminated down to here's a few words to summarize what this massive computer is doing in your brain. So what does all that come down to for you is you've got this information flying at you all the time. Well, what do you do with that? What do you do with that internal chit chat? Some people listen to it and it guides them. And well, they think it's guiding them to the positive, only what does that mean? Our chit chat was designed, and our unconscious and conscious mind was designed so many years ago to give us that understanding, that voice in our head as to what to do to keep us safe, and secure. One of the key components to your livelihood, or more importantly, your life, is keeping you safe and secure. So when we were the caveman, when we were walking in the dark and we were going into these dark caves and afraid to, or concerned, and rightly so, of getting eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, well, we needed that voice in our head to keep us safe and secure, to tell us, don't go in dark spots. Don't go in places where you can't see what's behind that wall. Don't go near that area. Avoid it, and you will stay alive. Well, the challenge is that we still have that chit chat in our head telling us, don't go in that dark area. That's bad. Don't go there. That's bad. And yet, nowadays, we're not worried about these monsters in the dark, and yet we're still are programmed to be afraid of the dark. That's some of the chit chat that goes on in our head. And this continues on to a broader scope of keeping us safe and secure. So a lot of the chit chat that goes on in your head will keep you safe. It doesn't mean it's going to drive you to success. It doesn't mean it's going to drive you to something that's vastly abundant or greatness or your fullest potential. It's going to keep you in a box. It's going to keep you secure and safe and living long. Is that what we want? Is that the voice we want to listen to? So the first awareness is to recognize that sometimes your internal chit chat that you want to believe is guiding you in your life is absolutely the thing you should not be listening to, because it's not guiding you to what is great. It's not guiding you to your fullest potential. It's not guiding you to everything that you want to be. It's guiding you to something that is okay, something that is safe and secure, keeping you in a box. And if you know anything about me, being the maverick, it's absolutely stretching yourself, absolutely stepping out of the box, absolutely doing things different than anybody else. And in that way, you have a chance of grabbing hold of abundance. You have a chance of grabbing hold of something great. Thank you so much, people on LinkedIn, and I appreciate that. And right here, I cannot see, if you actually type into the LinkedIn message what your name is so that I can see it. And I've got a lot of different platforms here, and I'm looking to engage with everybody. So absolutely, if you want to just type in your name in there, that would be really helpful. And right now I cannot see that. And I'm working on seeing how we can design this so that I can. That's another story for another day. Your brain is not necessarily working for you. So then how do you take charge of that chit chat that's in your head? How do you take charge of it so that it actually is feeding you the information that you want? It's actually feeding you what's going to give you abundance, what's going to build you up to be great, what's going to build you up to your fullest potential. And there's a couple things that you can do. Only recognize that there's this concept of mindfulness, and let's bring that into the equation of being completely present in the moment, where you're not concerned about the past. Well, that's depression in thinking about the past, and thinking about the future is usually called anxiety. And how do you eliminate all that? Is to be completely present, mindful of what's going on right now. With the chit chat and mindfulness, what you need is a set of belief systems that are going to guide you so that when you're in the moment, you're completely present and aware, and you're aware of what is going on internally, your chit chat, and what it really means and how it's serving you or not serving you in the moment. So first thing is the awareness of who you are, what you are, and where you are, so that you're completely mindful of the present moment. Then it's about considering, all right, what is your engagement with the external world? What do you want it to be? All too often people get connected to, hey, Holly, how are you? Yes, I see you there. Great, great, great. Great seeing all of you. And you're welcome, welcome, welcome. I see a ton of thank yous for sharing. And Lori, hey, Lori, taking charge of life through mindfulness is the key to true empowerment. Yes. And let's embrace this concept and thrive and taking charge of your life through mindfulness. And then there's the rest of the story. And I want to talk about that in just a moment. I'm reading through some of the comments. Mindfulness is like a superpower, yes, that we all possess that often is forgotten to utilize. Taking control of our thoughts through mindfulness can positively impact our mental well-being and overall outlook on life. Taking charge of our lives and destiny is empowering. Looking forward to gaining valuable information, insights on how, and hold please, and on how to, there we go. Looking forward to gaining valuable insights on how to silence the chit chat. Yes, we'll talk about that in just a moment. All we have is the here and now, self-actualization, absolute. This inspires us to more mindful of our internal thoughts. So understand that, yes, mindfulness, being completely present, it's where we get peace, where we get joy, where we get positive intent internally, that well-being. I want to add one more component in here because everything gets layered in. What does that mean? Are we then totally comfortable with our life, totally at peace with what's going on? Where does adversity come in? Where does that the understanding that we need adversity, we need to be uncomfortable for change to occur? And I would love to get feedback on what you think of that, because everything, and here's where we're going with this. Understand, people talk about mindfulness. They talk about this peacefulness, being in the completely present in Zen mode, which is absolute. However, and the dichotomy of what creates greatness is that once you're in that mode, you must then also understand an uncomfortableness with staying there, which is the antithesis of complacency. Because you can become peaceful with where you are at, which then can create complacency with what's happening in your life and in your world. The alternative is to get uncomfortable with where you're at, which is then going to be a driving force to create a difference in your future. And when you look at the human history, when you look at every great achievement that has ever happened throughout mankind's existence, every single one of them was to solve a challenge, and the challenge was presented in a position of adversity, in a position of not only just desire, but in a need base to create. And so when we compile that in, the concept of simple mindfulness, of simply being in the present moment is one layer of it, but we need that adversity. We need that uncomfortableness for a driving force to move forward, to create, to be achievement oriented, to be focused on what's more for us as individuals and our society to reach our fullest potential. There must be that driving force. Inspires us to be mindful of our inner thoughts. Yes, yes, yes. Your passions for teaching shines through. Thank you so much. This is, and for everyone that's here, man, this is my passion. I've been studying the mindfulness, social psychology, the human condition for over 40 years now. And this ongoing understanding of what drives us, what moves us. How come some people are you have two people that are happy, one person will excel and the other person will do nothing. Two people that are sad, one person will get ultimately depressed and the other person will fight through that and achieve because of the depression or because of the angst and the adversity. What makes the difference? And so many people say, oh, happiness or peacefulness creates that abundance. And well, that's not true. We know people that are happy, that are blissfully happy, that never achieve anything, nor do they contribute a ton to society other than the immediate block of people that are centered around them. And they'll be pleasant to be around, but they won't be contributing to the greatness of our society on a large scale. And so what makes some of that difference? And is that even important? Embracing challenges with resilience is key. Absolutely, resilience is another factor. The what we call the adversity quotient, how good you are at managing adversity, how resilient you are in the face of challenges is really key to success. It used to be that only your IQ was the important part, and then they recognized that IQ had nothing to do with success, and that this understanding of how to manage your chit chat, and the next step is you're focusing in on what your belief systems are. That is your standard operating procedure manual internally for what dictates your thoughts in that chit chat, and then how you take action once you have that command internally, how you take action externally, how you react to it. So your emotional intelligence is really key. So, yes, welcome adversity as an opportunity for transformation. And that's one of the key components. So, imagine this. And this is the dichotomy of most entrepreneurs, most small business owners, and most people that create any sort of excellence in their world is there's the understanding of being present in the moment, of being mindful, of being peaceful with where you're at, which then enables you to think more clearly, to be inspired for more internal synapses being fired off, and you're able to think faster, clearer, more precisely in everything that you do. But then there's another layer of wanting more. It's not about just sitting in the corner and being happy. It's about, well, what now? What do you do with that happiness and that joy? Is you decide that you want to expand it, and you want to create greatness from it, and you want to go out there and create something more, achieve more, be more. And what does that look like? So it creates that adversity of, well, I want something different than I have now, thus it's a challenge to create something different. That means that internally, we've got to be able to create motivation internally, and then two, manage what comes towards us, the external stimulus that happens in our world. So, a couple things you want to, what I talk about is fortifying our scope, fortifying our brain, fortifying our existence. And we fortify our existence by protecting it from the outside influences. And we don't do that by shutting it down. We do it by layering it with so much positive energy, so much positive intent that it shuns or overwrites any negative that's coming at us. There's a formula, if you will, and it's a loose formula at best, but there's been a few studies over the decades that have centered on this, that for every one negative that comes into our brain, we need 10 positives to overwrite it. So to offset it, to balance the scale, if you will. So that means that every time someone says, shut up, I don't want to hear from you, get away from me, move out of the way, or even something as simple as somebody honks as they're driving down the highway to get you out of the way, that's a negative stimulus that comes into our brain. How do we offset that? By creating positive affirmations internally, by writing down in our gratitude journal about how grateful we are for everything that we have, by having stimulating conversation with people that feed into our energy, surrounding ourselves with positive people that speak into our mind, the positive energy that we're also saying to ourselves. So all these are affirmations, both that we say internally as well as positive programming from the external world. I am great. I am powerful. I am unstoppable. I am loved. I am worthy. All these are great affirmations, declarations of who we are. So that's core one. We've got to fortify our brain, our existence, our subconscious to offset the negative that happens in the world that comes into our existence every day. Then we want to analyze, we want to go into and reframe our belief systems. And our belief systems will dictate our reality. And what I mean by that is, as you formulate belief systems and you believe them to the core of your being, you will find that they manifest in reality. No matter what you're looking for, no matter what you're looking to find, you're going to find it out there. And we know this. So we go shopping for a car, and oh man, we wanted a Honda, and all of a sudden we go to the dealership, we start looking at the Hondas there, we leave the dealership, and then we drive, and everywhere there's a Honda. Everywhere we drive, we see Hondas, bam, 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 all over the place that we never saw before. That happens. There's a whole process of understanding, of filtering our existence. We filter out, because there's so much information coming at us, we filter out 90% of what is coming into our world, coming into our eyes, our ears, all of our senses activated. We filter most of it out because it would be too overwhelming for us to process all of that. And we focus our attention. And so when we highlight what we want, we find it because our attention gets focused in on it. So if you want, a certain model car, well, that's an easy thing. That makes sense. And oh yeah, we start seeing it around, and that's funny. But what if you want positiveness in your life? You start saying the whole world is positive. The whole world is great. It's all here to serve me. You'll begin to find that in everything you do, everywhere you look. Now, unfortunately, the antithesis is also true. You say the world sucks. You say the world is after you. You say the world is out to get you. You will find proof of that as well. So which would serve you better? Would you rather have a world that's there to serve you, that's there to be great for you, that is so great and trusting and loving that you would want to embrace it at all costs? Or do you want a world that is negative? You want a world that is battling you at all costs? Which world do you want to show up in? That's the world that will, based on your beliefs, based on your chit chat internally, based on what you tell yourself every day. So now we know we manifest our world. We design it. Most people design it by accident. They walk through life with blinders on, not taking any control of their internal chit chat, and thus not taking any control of the external either. So with that, when you take control of one or the other, it's your choice. You're going to either take control of your internal chit chat or believe you have no control over it, in which case the rest of the world goes haywire with your thoughts. Manifest what you want. Decide what you want that universe to look like. And so you can craft your internal chit chat to be a universe that you would absolutely love to step into. From that, you build your standard operating procedure manual of your internal thoughts, meaning your belief systems, your mindset. I've got a mindset, for instance, that there's a solution to every challenge. Now, what does that mean as I'm utilizing that as a principle, as a main belief system in my being? There's a solution to every challenge. That means that there's never anything that's going to come into my life that cannot be solved. So there's no challenge that'll ever come in that'll defeat me, that'll beat me, that'll slap me down forevermore and where I can never get back up because there's a solution to every challenge. It's a belief system in my being. Do you think that manages and helps manage my internal chit chat? You see, what comes first? Your belief systems or your internal chit chat? What comes first, the internal chit chat, your belief systems, or the reality that you're living within? See, all this is a dynamic relationship where your chit chat will dictate what you perceive in the outside world. As you perceive the things in the outside world, you'll form your belief systems. Your belief systems will then dictate what your chit chat is internally, which will then dictate what you see in the outside world, thus changing your reality. This is a dynamic process. And it's kind of like the conversation of what comes first, the chicken or the egg. Man, we don't know. Here's what I tell you: start with one and watch the rest transform. You want to change your world? You want to change the way things happen in your life? Start getting control of your thoughts. Build your belief systems. Decide what you want your life to be and watch the rest manifest. I would love to hear chit chat. We definitely have a ton going on. I do have a couple things that I can share with you right off the bat, and this is kind of cool. We have an event coming up. Maverick Success Live is coming up real soon, and I want to grab hold of just a couple things. Maverick Success Live, man, this is 3 days where we have talked about your internal chit chat, how to get control of your belief systems. And then we move that into how does that translate into your world of business? What does that mean for your small business? What does that mean for your being an entrepreneur? What does that mean for your sales, your marketing, your engagement of influence and persuasion? And how does that all look? If you go to the QR code, go ahead and register. We've got an event coming up real soon. So absolutely would love to see you all there. Go ahead and grab hold of that link to use it. Take a look, see if it's for you. The concepts of what we do every day, the concepts of how we process internally is really key for how we manifest our world. Everything I've done in my success, I've been an entrepreneur now for over 36 years. I've been speaking and coaching, training at this level for 16 years. And what I can tell you is that each and every success story that I can tell, each and every platform that I've been on, each and every level of success that I've been able to achieve has everything to do with what's going on internally. My ability to manage my emotions, my ability to engage with the world based on my terms, not on the terms of what the external world is coming at me with. So it's not about the stimulus of the external world. It's about how I decide to perceive it and to react to it, which has everything to do with my internal chit chat and how I read it, how I engage with it, and my belief systems that are intertwined with my chit chat to create my reaction. What are you thinking every day? What are your emotional triggers and how are you responding to those? These are all pieces of the pie for all of you to examine. Would love to hear more and more feedback on all of this in the chat. Absolutely, we're going to continue this chat long after this conversation. I'm going to want to just close out with the understanding that you've got control. You've got control. You've got control of your whole world. Don't ever think that you don't. And how you utilize that control is now up to you. Are you going to take control of what you're thinking, which you have every empowerment to do? You have the ability to do. Take control of your thinking. Take control of your reactions to the external world. take control of your emotions. How to do that is so much about what we do in the events and all my coaching, my Maverick Success Live event, and all my coaching with the Maverick Universe. It's all about taking control of ourselves, which is the only thing you have control over, and being clear that your internal chit chat, your belief systems, and how you engage with the world is all up to you. And when you take that responsibility, the world shifts right before your eyes. You want more in your world, you want more in your life, you want more abundance, more lifestyle. You want to have freedom, financial security, all these and more. Come hang out, come spend some time. Look forward to seeing you all soon and talking to you all soon. Thank you for participating fully in all that we do. And I see Andrew and Leo and Roger and so many more. David, thank you so much. And Glenn, I appreciate you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate all of you hanging out and spending a little bit of time here. We're going to be doing this more and more. And I just wanted to come on here, absolutely give me some thoughts as to how you perceived all of this training and what we were talking about here. And I'll talk to you real soon. Take care now.